Okay, welcome back to the Adventure Within channel. My name is Andrew Fritz. I'm a clairvoyant, healer, and meditation teacher. And today we have an interview with Thomas M. Jones, and he's a psychotherapist, author, musician, and the visionary behind the paradox process, an innovative technique that transforms negative thoughts into powerful tools for personal growth and success. With over 40 years of experience, Thomas has guided a diverse clientele, including CEOs, award winning performers, journalists, and health professionals toward achieving their dreams from thriving careers to lasting relationships. Renowned for his practical and entertaining approach, Thomas offers transformative insights into love, professional success, and overcoming resistance. Hi, Thomas. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
Yeah, my pleasure. Looking forward to just learning more about you and the work that you do. I figure we just kind of start off on a very light note in this interview today. In your bio, it mentions that you're a musician, and I'm just kind of curious of when did you get into music, and can you just talk about that a little bit?
Sure. When I was a kid, I fell in love with Bob Dylan,
Mm,
right? I was crazy about his poetry and I wrote a little. I aspired to be a poet, right?
hmm
Um, but when I heard him sing, and then I got into another guy, Leonard Cohen. Have
mm.
you
I've
heard or
heard.
been
Yeah,
exposed
yeah,
to him? Neither of them could sing a lick. And I said, I can do that.
yeah.
I thought- So I thought this is something that I want to do. I want to be a songwriter and performer.
Mm,
And so I got into it, taught myself how to play guitar. I
mhm.
had my little poetry, and when I look back on it now, I cringe at some of the early work, but teenage angst, whatever.
Sure.
Um, but ultimately, I had the opportunity to write professionally, to
Mm,
do songwriting professionally. And so I worked with Paul Moriat, Love is Blue, and I worked with a lot of different bands, Chic, this one, that one.
mm.
And I had 17 records on the charts.
Oh, wow.
I And I didn't believe it even from the beginning, right? The first
Uh-huh.
time I heard my song on the radio, I was like, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. It was just so thrilling and surreal, right?
Yeah.
And so since then, I've written for Broadway. I've written songs, I've produced, I've performed, I've done the whole nine yards, and we ultimately owned a record company and started putting out our own music. But it was a journey, and it
Mm,
really just started out as a dream
mm.
because of Bob Dylan, really.
Got it. That's really cool. Um, you said for Broadway, like, could you talk about that a little bit? What was that like? Or
Well, that was an opportunity. We, at that point, had a label, and we were friends with other labels as well. So there was a label called Casablanca, a record company called Casablanca,
hmm
and they were putting on a show about disco, and we had largely worked in the dance area.
mm,
And so they said, would you be interested? And I pretty much fell off my chair. I
uh,
was like, absolutely. And so I got to write for this show, Gotta Go Disco, which by the way was a big turkey, in case you're curious.
mm,
But but it was still an honor. Um, Irene Cara was singing my songs. She got a standing ovation with one of them. And I thought I died and went to heaven. So
mm.
it was a big opportunity. It was a lot of fun. It was very exciting.
Very cool. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Now to kind of transition away from the music and into the kind of the healing work, what I always find like for myself and for other people, there's always something that really initiates that process for someone that's like, okay, now this because of this thing that happened, whatever it might be, big or small, now I want to learn to or kind of go down this path of learning to heal myself and eventually, oh, I've learned this for myself. I want to help other people heal in some fashion. Was there something that in your life that occurred that's you're like this kind of led you down this path of healing?
Yeah, I, not to be telling my sad story or anything, but I grew up in an abusive household,
Mm,
and I always was drawn to how do I fix this? How do I get out of this? How do I find my way?
sure.
And what was interesting is that I was drawn to Eastern philosophy. I was drawn to all of that, all of that kind of information. I was drawn also to, you know what an OBE is?
Oh, out of body experience?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I wanted to get out of my body. I wanted to get out of my life, frankly.
I can understand that.
So I started playing with astral projection and those kind of things, and it led me into meditation,
Mm,
which I found very comforting, very soothing. Now, around that time, and at the time I was still studying to be a therapist,
mm-hmm,
and so I met with a colleague. I had worked in a therapeutic community with kids who were remanded from the court system,
mm.
criminal kids, right?
Sure, yeah.
They terrified me at first, okay? But turns out they were sweethearts. They
Mm,
were great kids. But he and I discussed not the traditional therapy, like getting better at your story and kind
mm,
of navigating your way out of that, but how do we create a breakthrough process that is in the moment, that doesn't deal with having to go through your past or your history or your trauma,
mm-hmm,
and changes your feelings and emotions and gives you insight.
mm,
And so it's interesting because the meditative aspect of my life kind of merged at that point, and we started experimenting with how do we create a meditation that we can direct consciously
mm-hmm,
in order to achieve what we're trying to do. And
mm,
so we kind of sequestered ourselves upstate for the better part of a year, and
mm,
we're experimenting with this meditation, and finally arrived at a mantra meditation
mm,
based on the mantra accept the unacceptable,
mm,
right? The second precept of Buddhism, right?
mm-hmm,
Life is pain. By accepting that life is pain, we transcend it.
mm-hmm,
And so this became powerful and interesting because when you stated an issue that had an emotional charge and then you meditated using this mantra, it would release that emotional charge. But the way it did it was interesting
mm,
because it started showing you pictures and images on a deeper level about the real truth of the issue,
mm,
right?
mm-hmm,
And so, you know, once you turn the light on, it's hard to create darkness. When you see the real truth about an issue, you can't go back to those negative emotions. You can't be blaming or blaming yourself or feeling bad. You start to have a transcendent understanding.
mm-hmm,
And so we were very excited about this. But mind you, we had to meditate on each issue for about 45 minutes.
mm-hmm,
And so we decided we were going to try and teach it in this form,
mm,
and people weren't having it. Okay.
mm.
They weren't having sitting there for 45 minutes on one issue and then going to the next issue and doing that for 40. They
Right.
weren't having it. And so we thought, okay, we got to change this. We have to modify this somehow.
Mm,
And so again, we continued experimenting with it and discovered a way of triggering this meditation internally by using what we call keys or key phrases,
mm.
almost like the keystrokes on your computer. That
Ah,
when you hit return and it creates a whole macro, a whole series of processes go on, right?
mm-hmm,
And so ultimately, we created a command language for the mind that when you use it, it clears that emotional charge and gives you the insight and information.
mm-hmm.
So, you mentioned spirituality before, and I want to touch on that a little if you don't mind, because
Sure.
I think that what shocked us about this, we were just looking for a process that shifts emotionally, right?
Mm-hmm,
What we didn't realize was we opened up a whole new world. And in that world, we discovered this inner self. Some people call it the higher self or the super consciousness or whatever you
yeah.
like to call it. But it's an incredible version of ourselves that is not emotionally charged and has all the wisdom and knowledge in the world.
Mm,
And that when you start working with that part of you, it will give you that information and insight. And so we started to realize that, maybe we're thinking of these upsets wrongly. Maybe it's not that just bad things happen and we have to react and then recover.
mm,
Maybe it's that these are lessons that we've chosen to learn.
Ah.
and that in a very real way, we've presented them to ourselves in these little tableaus, these little situations that we're in, and that the object of it is to learn the lesson in order to transcend the situation and grow and move on,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So it became so much more than we bargained for. Yeah, we
Yeah.
really, we were stunned by it, by the power of this thing.
Right. Um, so before we go further, you talked about kind of almost like sequestering yourselves, for that year or so. And you're kind of working on this on your own and with each other, I'm sure. Like I mean, were there moments that you could share that were like really profound, like moments where you had like a breakthrough or like, whoa, this happened, and anything you want to share from that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll give you the most crystalline moment for me because
Sure.
it was really seminal. It really changed me. Um, like I mentioned before, I grew up in an abusive household. My father was a Navy man.
Hmm.
He didn't understand affection. He thought that was just something girls do. I don't know.
Right.
But in any case, he was very harsh, very strict, and happy to give you the hand or the belt or whatever.
Hmm.
And I grew up feeling unloved. I grew up feeling unlikable.
Hmm.
And so that's really part of my journey,
Hmm.
that this was the thing that I wanted to solve. This was the thing that was driving me.
Hmm.
And so when we discovered this meditative process, I thought if it can handle this, then it's worth something. If it
Hmm.
can't, we're on the wrong track.
I see.
And so I started doing that meditation on that issue.
Hmm.
And I discovered something I never would have thought was true.
Hmm.
I I all of a sudden got the insight and the realization that this man actually loved me,
Hmm.
that I was loved. He just had no means of expressing it.
Hmm.
And 1,000 different pictures fell into place in a way that I saw beyond being able to refute it. He really did care. He really did love me.
Hmm.
And so that was a shift that changed me for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
It took away a bitterness and an anger that I'd been holding on to and kind of grinding away at all my life.
Hmm.
But being myself, I'm a skeptic, so I had to I had to write to him
Hmm.
and I challenged him. I said, "Look, I did some work and this is what came up for me. Is this true?"
Hmm.
And he wrote back a letter that I have to this day
Oh, wow.
saying, I absolutely loved you and do love you.
Hmm.
I His father died when he was 8. I didn't have a
Hmm.
role model. I went into the Navy. I didn't know how to express it, and I'm sorry.
Hmm.
And you could have knocked me over with a feather.
Right.
I But it validated the work that I had done
Hmm.
because, it's one thing to have a realization or a shift. It's another thing to be able to integrate it, right?
Hmm.
Because I'd
Right.
lived my whole life with that defensive attitude,
Hmm.
right? And now suddenly the truth was asking me to shift into something different. And I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know, what does that look like?
Right.
How do I navigate that? And so it was so validating to get that letter and to see, yeah, he really did care.
Hmm.
And for me, that meant the paradox process has real worth, has real value.
Hmm.
That was a turning point for me.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. Um, yeah, I guess can you talk more about the paradox process and is there anything you want as far as like share that like guide that or share that kind of following that as well?
Sure. Um, so, we thought we had the greatest thing since sliced bread, right?
Hmm.
And my partner swore to me that the world is going to beat a path to our door, right? But again, I'm a skeptic, and I thought, I don't know. I don't think so.
Hmm.
So we brought it to the National Institute of Health and asked them, work with us, validate this. They sent a psychiatrist down. We worked with him. He saw it work.
Hmm.
And we waited for his report for 2 weeks, and finally it came, and he said, "This is too far to the left for us, right?
Ah,
This
okay.
is too out there for
Mm,
us." And so, you know, ultimately, look, everything's meant and perfect, right? So ultimately, that's the way it was supposed to unfold, and we developed it on our own without the guidance or maybe interference of a government agency.
mm,
And so again, we created this process of triggering it with keywords and key phrases.
mm,
But all along the way, it was an exploration of the emotional, the neurological, the physical, and the spiritual,
mm,
because it addressed every aspect of us.
mm.
And so we decided to make it user friendly. And, we'll have the opportunity to play with it a little bit, and I'll show you how it works.
Sure.
Um, but in a way, it's deceptively simple
Mm,
because if you tell somebody, look, you can work on this and you can say a few phrases and a few sentences, and this will clear the emotional charge, they're very skeptical,
mm.
right? And so this is why we offer a free demonstration and we show people what it is and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
But it's been a journey trying to put it out there.
Mm.
And, you know, to be frank, I was waiting for a better representative than me because I was like, somebody can pitch this, somebody can, put this out there in the world better than me.
Mm,
Nobody came along. So,
mm,
ultimately, I felt like this is too valuable. I got to get out of my own way. This is too valuable not to put it out there in the world, not to share it,
yeah.
because I've watched people transform. And sometimes in one session, they have one session with me and their lives change.
Mm,
Just like that moment I had with my dad, right?
mm,
And other people choose to learn more and explore more and so forth and so on. And
mm,
so now, the way it works is somebody will come to me individually and they'll have an issue or a problem or something they're stuck with, something that has an emotional charge.
mm,
And then we'll identify that and start working on it. And now the way it looks is I give them a series of prompts and they turn on this key or key phrase, and it starts that meditation internally in that. So it's a fascinating process.
yeah. No, it really sounds like that. You mentioned I think a couple times where you mentioned pictures. Is this
Yeah.
something you personally or people you've worked with experienced? Are they seeing mental image pictures or memories? Is that something that comes up in this process or?
Yeah. Yeah. Here's what happened, and, it took me a while to figure out why do some people see it and some people not, right?
Mm,
And it turns out some people are visual, some people are auditory, some people are kinesthetic. And so depending on who you are, you
mm,
may have a different experience.
mm,
For me, I'm fairly visual, and so I would
mm,
see these pictures and images, and it would kind of explain, oh, this is the reality, this is the truth.
yeah.
But in any case, what's happening is this intuitive self is giving truth on a subconscious level
Mm,
in a way that releases the old lies, really, the
mm,
old misconceptions and misbeliefs.
mm,
And so it's a process of expurgating or releasing all of that
mm,
in a way that, the most common reaction people have is they say, "Oh, I feel lighter. I feel like there's more space around the issue. I feel
mm.
easier, or I feel freer." And so
Interesting. Yeah.
that's really how it goes. You know, Given our history and our background, we've been programmed from the time we were kids to not feel good things about ourselves, let's say, right?
Sure.
Limiting beliefs. I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't fit in. I'm not lovable, so forth and so on.
Hmm.
And we live these things as if they're true, and they're not.
Right.
And the most interesting thing to me, and I was just having this argument yesterday with somebody. Um, he came from a religious background. I also did, by the way. I was
Mm,
raised Catholic and I intended to be a priest.
mm.
That went sideways after a while.
You wanted to help people in some way, though.
Yeah. Obviously, I had a calling, but it wasn't that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but he was talking about what an elegant model it is that we're broken and that we need to fix ourselves. And I
Mm,
said, I disagree 1,000%.
mm,
I think the truth is we are not broken at all.
mm,
Okay. We are hidden. Okay. We ran for the hills. The
right.
authentic self hid and created this series of adjustments and this personality that's user friendly in
Mm.
order to handle the world. But no, we're pristine. We're excited. We're yes people. We're inspired. And we're ready to play in the world. That's the truth of us.
I agree with that. Do you feel what you just talked about? Like, do you sense that is ego that we're putting out in front? You know, like what's behind is actually our true selves. That there's nothing wrong. We're 100% worth and complete and all that. But then we have all this wall of, hey, this is me, and
Yeah. The ego is a defense mechanism.
mm,
And so, you see people with these egos, and you can know beyond a doubt that's compensation. Okay.
mm,
You're compensating for your inadequacies. You see the bully and you realize there's a scared person.
oh
You
right,
see somebody mean and you realize there's somebody who's been wounded and hurt,
mm,
right? But the ego presents this set of defenses instead.
right,
And, I think the ego gets a bad rap, right?
sure,
Because the reality is that when you're actualized, when you're in your true self, the ego then looks for challenges. It looks to rise. It looks to interact with the world and play and improve and do all of that.
mm,
So it's just a mechanism. It's not a bad thing. But
right,
when you're entrenched in all those limiting beliefs, it's going to create a lot of defensiveness in you.
sure. That makes sense. Um, when you, I mean, from your personal experiences or people you've worked with, prior to going into a session, however long it might be, do people start to notice things starting to get stirred up within themselves? Like, did they start noticing strange or just things that are kind of lighting up within them? Like, hey, I'm feeling this already, or I'm in this weird mental loop, or this is happening, and we haven't even got into the session yet. Is that ever something you've noticed at all?
Yeah. And I'll talk about the retreat we're about to do
Okay.
because the minute you say yes to the personal work,
Mm,
you're now engaging with that part of you,
mm,
right? Before you ever do one bit of work, you're already confronting a part of you and you're starting to bring things up
mm.
because now it's available to be looked at, to be worked on, maybe to be resolved, right?
Yeah.
So we're doing a retreat in Portugal. This year we're doing Portugal.
Oh, cool.
Um, 5-day intensive where we're doing all of the intense work for 5 days, working on everything blocking you from getting what you want. And what's
Mm.
interesting to me is that as soon as they say yes to coming to the retreat, already in it. They're already in it.
Ah, right, right. Yeah, yeah.
Now, they already got a million issues coming up and they're kind of agitated and ready to work and so forth. So
Yeah.
yeah, the minute you say yes, the minute you turn toward the work, you're engaging in the work.
Mm, got it. Um, you just brought up something. I mean, if I would just touch on it real quick. Do you find that there's a common theme or thread that holds people back or limits them from having what they're seeking? Whether it's, hey, I want this loving relationship, whether they don't have one yet or they want to improve one, or this career or whatever it might be, just something that they're seeking that they actually want to have and actually manifest or bring into their life. Do you find like an overall common thread or theme that most people
I
run
do.
into?
I do. And if you think of the limiting beliefs that we've been brought up with, they're not just static. They don't just lie there. They
Hmm.
create a narrative. They create this story of the self, okay, which is also completely misguided,
Hmm.
right? And so I'll see people that they want to step up to an opportunity and they got all the skill and talent in the world, but they don't have the belief that they can do it
Hmm.
because of that narrative. And
Hmm.
so part of what this process does is it engages with your internal dialogue. It engages with that narrative and changes it.
Hmm.
And opens it up. It changes from I can't to I can,
Mm,
right? And from I can to I will.
mm,
Most of the people I work with are successful to a degree and are
mm,
stuck somewhere and want to break through.
mm.
And to me, that's totally fun, right?
Yeah,
Because I know we can do it. And I'm like, okay, where do you want to go? What do you want to create? What do you want to do?
yeah.
And so I facilitate those changes and they see new daylight, new sense of possibility.
Mm,
And if people understood your biggest illusion is that dialogue in your head.
mm,
And that when you change that, you change your experience and you change your outcomes. But
mhm.
again, people take it as gospel. They just, they live into it. And the brain will accommodate that. If you live into that dialogue, your brain will find all of the evidence to make that so.
Right. Um, like almost it's, hey, because this happened 15 years ago, well, it's not possible now, or yeah, referring to the past as if it's absolute truth and nothing can ever shift or change. Is that kind of what you're referring to?
Yeah. Yeah. And so I see people all the time that don't know who they are. And, it's one of the things I do when I'm giving a lecture. I love the shock value of it. Telling
Mm.
people, you don't know who you are.
Ah,
You have no idea who you really are. And who
mm,
you think you are is an illusion.
mm,
It's a set of feelings, history, belief, and trauma that you've knitted together into some story that you're living into.
mm.
And
Right.
so, you know, the fun of this work, I don't know if everyone would call it fun, but I do,
Yeah.
is breaking out of that story and creating a narrative that you choose, right? Creating what you want in this life.
Hmm.
Because we're all creators. We're all intensely passionate and driven and creative. And if we unleash that, we're going to show up in the world in a different way.
Sure. Um, and I like what it looks like you're in that year, you kind of sequestered yourselves, and you're seeing kind of what works, what doesn't, and you realize that, oh, people don't really want to sit for a long period of time in that meditation space. And here's one issue. Now let's move to the next one. I think that makes sense. I think a lot of people probably don't, but then it seems like some people actually would prefer that. Like I don't know what your experience was, but for me, like that sounds like, yeah, I'll do 45 minutes on one issue, but I know a lot of people don't. Is there just a preference where some people want to dive into that and some people want more of a something a little different?
Yeah. And, that led me to teaching every aspect of this process.
Mm,
That meditation, we call that the manual process, and we teach that.
mm.
I was in heaven, by the way. I was never happier and clearer than that year, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, so pieced out, so at ease with myself and the world, right?
Mm,
But we teach that aspect of it, and then we teach the more accessible aspect of it. There are
sure.
many different techniques within it because, again, I've been developing this for close to 50 years.
Mm,
And so we've tried to facilitate whatever you have the appetite for in terms of your growth, right?
mm, mm.
But for my money, if it could have been, I would have kept it at the meditation.
Yeah, yeah. I understand that. I relate to
Yeah.
that. Um, do you want to share, or I don't know if you were wanting to do something guided or with
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
process?
What I'd love to do is give you just a little bit of this process, a
Sure.
taste of it. And in order to do that, do you have an issue that has some emotional charge for you or something that you're blocked or that you want to change?
Yeah, yeah. That's why actually why I brought up the people notice anything prior to working with you because it's like all since this morning. I had to take my wife to the hospital. She's pregnant and she just needed one of her prenatal appointments. But I noticed all morning my throat, like it feels just like it's irritated. And that's been one of my core issues. It's, I love expressing myself and, doing the podcast and meeting people and talking with people. At the same time, I struggle with my voice and my expression still. So that's why I think probably that would be something I'd want to kind of look at.
That's great. Fifth chakra issue, huh?
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Oh, I hear you.
Yeah.
I understand that one. All right, so watch. Here's what we're going to do. I'll give you a little thumbnail of what I do
O-
in a session.
Okay.
We're going to create a scale of 0 to 10,
Okay.
right? This is so clinical. Um, and the 0 is going to be where I want to get you to emotionally. And let's say I'll describe it. You tell me if this fits where you'd like to be, right?
Okay.
Let's say that the 0 that we're going to work on is being totally at ease with your voice in a way that you trust it, you believe in it, you have access to it, you feel the power of it, that you
Mm,
don't limit it, and that you're
mm,
allowed to express everything and anything that you need to express in a way that you feel safe in
mm.
yourself and in the world doing so. Is that about
Yeah.
where you'd want to be?
Yeah, I love that. Yep.
Yeah. So if that's 0 and 10 is as far away from that 0 as could be, where do you fall on that scale? How far from that are you?
Honestly, probably like 8.
Okay, so it's pretty charged.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, this is a
All
big
right,
core issue.
that's fine. That's good, actually. Not for you, but it
Yeah, yeah,
works.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm going to start firing questions and statements at you about the issue. Some of them will be true, some of them won't be true, but they all have an emotional charge.
Okay.
You're going to answer with a two-word phrase that triggers the meditation. The phrase is feeling clear. Okay.
Okay.
That triggers the mantra meditation, accept the unacceptable.
Mm.
So in all of this, your line is feeling clear. And we're going to do it round by round and see where we go.
Okay.
Okay.
After everything you
Okay.
say, I'll say feeling clear.
You just say feeling clear. That's your only line.
Okay.
You can imagine how many people forget it. Like, really? That's your line.
That's
All right.
funny.
Here we go. Ready? Isn't it important for you to know that I'm safe in the world?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that there's a part of me that's very emotional about this birth?
Feeling clear.
Don't I want to cry?
Feeling clear.
Is there a part of me that resists that?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that I got the man in me who's not supposed to do that?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that I have this mandate to be strong through this?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that I have to be strong for her? I got to be strong for me. I got to be strong for the situation.
Feeling clear.
Can I see that allowing myself to feel that sadness and that worry and that doubt is being strong?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that I'm a vital human being that has all of these feelings and colors?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that that kid is going to make me cry more than once?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that it's an opportunity for me to connect with this emotional self that I am?
Feeling clear.
Isn't it important for you to know that it's a beautiful part of me? It's a powerful part of me.
Feeling clear.
What if I knew that by allowing that to be, she would be more reassured?
Feeling clear.
What if I knew that it's okay with the entire world for me to be emotional about this most emotional event?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that it's scary, it's wonderful, it's exciting, it's inspiring?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that that brings tears of joy, tears of worry, and excitement at the same time?
Feeling clear.
Can I see there's a log jam here of feelings and emotions?
Yeah. Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that it's absolutely okay to be feeling all of it and to let it flow?
Feeling clear.
Can I trust and know that it's life giving me strength to handle the situation?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that far from being weakness, it's life affording me a new power?
Feeling clear.
Can I trust and know that this child brings my child out?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that my child is celebrating?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that my child wants to kick my ass for holding it back?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that it's okay for me to align with this inner child?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that it's a beautiful thing?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that this is an evolution, not just for me, not just for her, not just for that child?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that that child's coming down to help evolve us?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that it's already begun?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize I'm on a hell of a ride and I don't know where it's going?
Feeling clear.
Isn't it important for you to trust, to allow, to accept, and take the ride?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that it's going to be an incredibly healing event?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that it already is?
Feeling clear.
Can I allow myself the ease of these emotions?
Feeling clear.
What would it be like if I was proud of all these feelings?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize it's everything that I would tell somebody else?
Feeling clear.
Can I trust and know I can give myself permission to be this wonderfully emotional guy?
Feeling clear.
Isn't it important for you to know that that's a beautiful thing?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that those are the emotions of a fully actualized being?
Feeling clear.
Okay, that's the first round.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know,
That
right?
that's cool.
What was that like for you?
The two things that stood out to me was obviously my throat and what I was experiencing there. Um, I mean, part of me was listening to what you said, and that was helpful. And then some of it was just the experience. I wasn't so focused on the words you were saying, but the in my throat, it was like, from the fifth chakra, it's almost like rubber bands like around it and like starting to like come undone. It's
Okay.
like that's what my experience was. And the amusement from point to point throughout that was really helpful. That was healing. That really helped me. And then also my heart. That's where like my physical heart. It was like black starting to pour out of it. So those are the two areas. Even though this wasn't a part of my fifth chakra expression, but those are the two areas that kind of stood out to me the most.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So you started out at an 8 or so. What do you think it'd be now?
I'd say five.
Let's do another round. Ready?
Okay.
I do this all day, by the way, so I am a bit relentless. If it ever gets too much, just cry uncle.
All
Okay?
right. Sounds good. I can take it.
Probably I probably won't stop, but you can cry. Yeah.
Yeah. It's what the audience wants to see. No.
Okay, ready? Can I recognize that I'm thinking of this birth as something outside of me?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that this child is going to guide us?
Feeling clear.
Can I see it's already starting to do so?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that it's the opportunity for us to bond, to heal, to move forward, and to learn and grow?
Feeling clear.
Can I trust this is going to be the next level of the evolution of me?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that my heart is opening not just to them, but to me?
Feeling clear.
Can I see this is the opportunity for you to embrace the child within me?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that I've attended to this child, but not enough?
Feeling clear.
What if I knew that this child needs unconditional love and approval?
Feeling clear.
Isn't it the opportunity for me to approve of me?
Feeling clear.
Isn't it the opportunity for me to accept me?
Feeling clear.
Isn't it the opportunity for me to heal me?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that kid is stronger than both of us?
Feeling clear.
Can I see she's on a mission?
Feeling clear.
Can I trust that we're in this together and it's going to be a wonderful journey?
Feeling clear.
Can I allow myself to feel safe in the world?
Feeling clear.
Can I feel that root chakra solid as a rock?
Feeling clear.
Can I feel that heart opening and expanding?
Feeling clear.
Can I feel that throat releasing and allowing?
Feeling clear.
Can I open up that sixth chakra in a way that I see this beautiful vision of the future?
Feeling clear.
Can I allow myself to enjoy every color of these emotions?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that I'm allowed, I'm supposed to?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that this is a preordained part of my journey that we've all spiritually agreed on taking?
Feeling clear.
Can I trust and know part of the team's coming?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that I can welcome wholeheartedly?
Feeling clear.
Okay. What was that like for you?
That one was different. because you're mentioning other chakras. I mean, there was more happening with my heart. It just felt like green light kind of emitting from it, like front and back.
Hmm.
And then you'd hit, the root chakra or sixth chakra, and then like once you just said it, it's almost like I immediately go there and I can feel something happening and changing. So this one, it was instead of it just focused on the throat and my chest, it was kind of going up and down. So I feel brighter or open on different levels now.
Yeah. Yeah. When big life events like this, like the birth of a child, we have a kind of rigidity of role that we fall into without even realizing it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what we're doing now is we're kind of breaking that open so that
Mm-hmm.
you can have the experience, you can have the authentic experience that you're actually having, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I mean by changing that inner dialogue,
Yeah.
right? We have this expectation. I remember when I first had a kid and I had all these expectations of myself, like, oh, I got to be this, I got to be serious now,
Right, right.
you know, kiss of death. I
Mm-hmm.
I'll never be serious. Um, but yeah, so where do you think it'd be now?
Let's see. I'd say 3 to 4. Yeah,
Let's do one more round just so that I can give you a little bit of taste. And
sure.
ready?
Yeah, yeah.
Can I trust that she's safe?
Feeling clear.
What if I knew beyond a doubt it already worked out? Everything was fine.
Feeling clear.
Is it a time for you to recognize it's supposed to be scary?
Feeling clear.
And I see that it certainly filled the bill.
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that it brings in every issue in the world?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that it brings in mortality? It brings in roles. It brings in the future. It brings in money. It brings in power.
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that it feels like a goddamn three-ring circus?
Oh yeah, feeling clear.
What if I knew that every one of those areas is being tweaked and adjusted and opened up?
Feeling clear.
Can I trust and know I'm even now doing the work that I need to in order to receive this wonderful gift?
Feeling clear.
Can I surrender and allow myself to be changed by this in all the best ways?
Feeling clear.
Can I allow it to call forth the best version of me?
Feeling clear.
Can I trust and know there's more love available, more affection available, more power available for all of us?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that I think I'm the protector, but I'm being protected?
Feeling clear.
Can I receive that?
Feeling clear.
Can I allow that?
Feeling clear.
Can I use that?
Feeling clear.
Can I trust that we're in a beautiful flow where it all works out and we get what we want and what we need?
Feeling clear.
Can I allow my identity to expand to this new journey?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that it is a new journey?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that in many ways I'm going to reinvent my path?
Feeling clear.
Can I allow it to expand me the way it wants to?
Feeling clear.
What if I knew beyond a doubt I'm not going to lose anything, but I'm going to gain excitement, insight, power, joy, possibility?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize this kid is a gift?
Feeling clear.
Can I take the gift and trust the outcomes?
Feeling clear.
Can I trust me?
Feeling clear.
Can I trust the me that is open to this experience in a way that I allow it, I use it, I go with it?
Feeling clear.
Okay.
So this there's a lot happening actually at my base of my spine, the root chakra. So it felt like more of a release was happening there. And then I felt like I was getting more through this last segment, getting more grounded, and I feel like I'm more in my body and more present. That's what I was really taking home, kind of the last part. I'm like, wow, okay, I feel like I don't know if you've ever experienced where you feel like you're just kind of out of sync a little bit, and then you start to come more in sync, and I'm like, oh, okay, I feel much more in the moment now with you.
I love that experience when you pop in, like, oh,
Yeah,
here I am, right?
yeah, yeah. Where was I before?
Yeah. What's it? Yeah, God knows. What's interesting about this is that it's a challenge to your identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
It, by definition, it's going to change your identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, identity doesn't like to change. And
Right.
so there's resistance there. It doesn't mean you're fighting it, but it means there's a natural resistance. The old identity wants to assert itself and the new one is coming in. And
Right.
that's where the conflict comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where the kind of roughness of it comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And really what we're doing is paving the way to receive and allow this new version of you. Because here's what's interesting. You're not going to lose anything. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to add something. You're going to add dimension,
Mm-hmm.
right? Dimension, vision, power. And so it's an integration. And so the less we resist that integration, the smoother the transition goes, right?
Right. And are you speaking to, in this case, like me becoming like a father? Like that's a whole definitely happening on an identity level, like identity shift, or just a parent,
Yes.
like is that kind of what you're talking to?
Both.
Both, yeah.
Both. Yeah. You being a father, you being a parent, you being a husband, you being a
Right.
guide, you being
Yeah.
a source, you being a resource,
Mm-hmm.
and you being in the world with all of that,
Right.
right? It's an adjustment. Walking down the street is an adjustment. It's
Mm.
like, who am I now, right?
Yeah.
We have more responsibility and yet more availability in
Mm.
its way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do one more round and then I promise I'll stop. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, sure. I love it. I like this.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Can I trust that I'm already making the transition?
Mm. Feeling clear.
Can I recognize that I'm doing a great job?
Feeling clear.
Isn't it true for my role in life, I got to do this perfect?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize there's no such thing?
Feeling clear.
Can I give myself permission to be a work in progress?
Feeling clear.
Can I give myself permission to unmake some things and allow others to be remade?
Feeling clear.
What if I'm going to walk on a broader path?
Feeling clear.
What if I'm going to take bigger steps?
Feeling clear.
What if I'm going to have more power?
Feeling clear.
Can I trust and know I've already integrated the responsibility?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that I got it covered?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that I'm ready to grow?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that I'm ready to build?
Feeling clear.
Can I see that it's not only the opportunity to build a family, it's the opportunity to build across the board?
Feeling clear.
Can I recognize building energy is going to filter itself through all the areas in my life?
Feeling clear.
Can I allow myself to utilize it for the energy and the power that it is?
Feeling clear.
Can I trust and know it's going to inform everything I do and everything I am?
Feeling clear.
Can I allow myself to celebrate it?
Feeling clear.
Can I, without knowing where I'm going to land, trust 100% it's going to be beautiful?
Feeling clear.
Okay.
That one, I don't know, sounds weird, but if there was like a light bulb in the center of my brain, like I felt like I was the light bulb getting brighter and brighter and brighter. That's what that experience was like. Yeah.
I like that. That's great.
Yeah.
So I'll relent now, but I just wanted to show you
Yeah.
what what it's like to deal with an issue. So now when you look at it, what does it look like to you? What does the issue look like?
Oh, going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, I think safety was a big thing. I feel that once I kind of locked more in my body and there was this sense of amusement and openness and brightness and vividness, like it's some of the issue, a lot of it kind of starts to go away or fades away. Um, and so I think a lot of it just feeling safe to be grounded and present, then oh, my communication is more, there's more of an ease or an openness to it, and probably even beyond just the voice, other abilities too. There's more of an ease. So safety, I think, was a big one for me actually through that.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
Um, and if your throat isn't better now, it'll be better later. It'll be better in a couple hours.
yeah.
But so it's the opportunity to interact with people at critical times in their lives
Hmm.
in a way that opens up space and possibility and gives them permission and freedom to know you got this. Not
Hmm.
only did you get this, but it's on your path and you're going to excel at this. And it has opportunity and possibility within it you haven't even seen yet,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
And so for me, that's the fun, right?
Yeah.
That's the excitement. Because like you said, it's like waking up, like, oh,
Mm.
okay,
Hmm.
right? It
Yeah.
puts the power back in your hands. When we have an emotional charge on something, we're giving the power away to
Mm.
our fears or our worries or our doubts or the expectations. Now you've taken it back. Now you got all the power.
Right.
And we're much better when we're in our power.
Right. Yeah, I guess when we go into a state of resistance, do you feel like we're like giving up or giving away our power to something outside of ourselves? And this process is kind of like reversing it back and reclaiming?
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever you're anxious or afraid or in a negative expectation, you're creating a scenario that
Mm.
you're then reacting to. You're giving your power away to an imagined outcome, right?
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
And and the reality is, don't do that. You,
Yeah.
you don't have to do that. But
Yeah.
you have to know that you're doing that and you have to know how to undo it, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
And that's where I think the paradox process comes in because I teach people it's a lot simpler than we think,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I'd say, yeah.
I was talking to somebody yesterday about traditional therapy, and I was saying, at a certain point, it diverges in outcome from what we want.
Hmm.
A therapist, and I know this by experience, wants you to come week after week, whether you need to or not,
Ah,
right?
right. Yeah, yeah. Yep.
And it's one of the pitfalls of the practice. And so the reality is you need permission to be able to do it yourself, to be able to take care of you
Hmm.
and to let go of the old model.
Hmm.
The guy yesterday was saying, I replaced the addiction with my father for the addiction to the therapist. And I kept
Oh.
wondering, what would he think? How can I please him?
Mm.
And I thought, well, then you've just sidelined, you've kind of sidestepped and you're in a similar position, right?
Right. Yeah.
And the reality is we don't have to give our power away to anything or anyone.
Right.
And the more you claim that and the more you take that, the more you're going to look for your power and take it back from largely what is illusion in life.
Hmm.
The circumstances that are real, we need to be as resourceful and powerful as we can be.
Hmm.
And that means taking your power back from the things that aren't real, right?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So
I like
that's really
that.
the thrust of my work. And, to say that I fell into it because I was trying to astral project over Brooklyn.
Yeah, yeah. That's cool. That's really cool. I've never come across this kind of style of the work that you do. I really enjoyed it. I like the just kind of not knowing what you're going to say, and sometimes it kind of uh, makes me laugh, or it's like I didn't. Oh, yeah, I definitely have thought of that same thing, or I wasn't even thinking that consciously, and um, yeah, it was just very effortless. But at the same time feeling the things expanding or brightening or opening or certain things purging, coming out. I felt all that, experienced that. So I really enjoyed that.
And here's what's interesting, Andrew. I don't know what I'm going to say either. Okay.
That was going to be my
Because,
question. Yeah.
yeah, because here's what's happening. My intuitive self is visiting yours,
Right.
and they're having a dialogue.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing is getting out of the way, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of taking what's in there and making it conscious, right?
Yeah.
Which takes the charge away, takes the power away.
That's yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just answered it basically. I was going to ask what you discovered in that year of sequestering yourself and discovery. It seems like you're in this session, I'm sure other sessions, it just seemed like you were in tune with your higher self. And it seems like there was it
That's
just
totally the instrument I'm using,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But, God help you if you say that to people. So,
Yeah, higher
you
self.
know,
What? Yeah.
so, I've learned to language it in different ways for different audiences. Like this is your
Right.
intuitive self,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
This is your super consciousness. This is, a level of awareness that you're not generally aware of. Blah, blah,
Hmm.
blah. But really, it's the higher self.
Yeah, yeah. I love
We're
that.
on a journey. We're on a journey to learn and grow. And my motto is learn, grow, and have a great time.
Hey, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was really enjoyable. I really appreciate you doing that and taking your time and to share that with me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it was really fun. And
Yeah,
thanks for being open to all of this. You
absolutely.
gave me permission to talk more honestly about what this is
Good.
because, generally people are a little more kind of linear or restrictive in how they want to interpret this, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I guess I kind of want to go quickly backwards. The time you were talking about what's kind of started this was the getting into the OBEs or wanting to kind of get out of the body. Is there anything from those experiences that stands out that you'd want to share or anything or
I was fascinated, I was 15 and working on this, right?
yeah.
And I was fascinated because within that experience, I was out there,
Mm,
right? And it was an incredibly freeing experience.
mm,
And I thought, this is how to be, whatever form it's going to take.
mm,
This freedom, this kind of ease, this kind of ownership of this realm is where I need to be,
mm, mm.
right? And so that really stood out,
Yeah.
right? You know, and we can talk about all the experiences, and I've had many.
Mm.
Um, and engaging with other consciousness and you know sorting
Sure.
our way through. We think we're alone. That's a laugh. um
Yeah.
but but yeah, what really stood out was that expansive feeling. I was
Mm,
at once, I was free of all the emotional weight and baggage that I generally held in my body,
mm,
and I felt this sense I almost didn't want to come back. That was And then
mm.
then I got scared because I thought maybe I won't. And then I was like, no, 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 no. Let's make sure we
Yeah, let's reel it in.
let's reel it in a little bit. But yeah, that really stood out for me.
Very cool. It sounds like some of the out of body experiences you had where it's what you experience, like the qualities of it that you'd want to um be mindful of it or kind of integrate into your kind of your everyday waking life in the body, like being present. Would you say that's accurate or?
That is absolutely true. When you have that sense, I'll call it detachment, but it's much more passionate than that.
Mm,
Detachment from the emotional weight of it all, right?
mm,
A sense of freedom and lightness on your feet,
mm,
a sense of dominion over this plane, like I can create anything I want. I
mm.
can play any way I want,
Yeah.
right? I think I was telling somebody earlier, she's just had a major operation and she's going through it. And I was telling her that this is a rich and full experience, and we need to experience it as much as we possibly can. We need to really surrender to the experience of being present, being
Mm,
powerful, being in our power,
mm,
and recognizing this life is not punishment,
mm,
okay? It's opportunity.
mm,
And yeah, we're going to learn things, but the less you resist your lessons, the more positive those lessons are.
mm,
They go dark because we fight them. And
mm.
our higher self says, really? I'm going to get your attention.
Yeah, yep.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And then it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Uncle, I'll
Yeah,
learn.
yeah. Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a lightness of being that is available to all of us that we should really aspire to. And I
Hmm.
think many people don't even know that it's there.
Right.
And, you know, that's a shame because,
Right.
you know, Um, then they think you're just talking pie in the sky or woo woo or,
Yeah.
kind of making it up and not realizing, no, 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 there is a deep, powerful experience to be had here. And it's
Yeah.
very rich and very full and very present.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that 100%. Yeah, it sounds like being able to be aware of that these are lessons, that it's not this, it may seem kind of rough or terrible at some time, different points in our life, but it is just a lesson that maybe we've pre-planned, or, before birth and just, hey, okay, this is what I'm going to go through. So I would learn this thing or, strength or courage or whatever it might be. Um,
Yeah, I think we have our checklist. I
mm,
think we come in with our checklist, and we are absolutely going to have these lessons.
mhm,
And again, the less you resist them, the less pain. Look, lessons come first with no price, right? You can
mm,
learn the lesson.
right.
We rarely do that. Okay.
Yeah.
We rarely do that. We resist and it raises the ante. So
Mm,
now this higher self of ours has to get our attention.
mm,
And so it will create something that we can't turn away from.
mm, yeah.
Okay. And it's really us saying to us, take it on, that you
Mm,
chose this.
mm,
If we could manage to choose what we've chosen, we'd always be aligned.
mm, right.
But because we've been so programmed in such a screwy way, we don't always recognize it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so I think the big takeaway, for just as a reminder for myself, and I hope the audience takes, is getting out of resistance, step out of resistance, and things will be a lot easier, right?
Oh yeah, if you could do that. And by the way, easier said than done. And
Right, right, yeah.
I have
Yeah.
great empathy for everyone because I know it.
Yeah,
Uh, but it is also absolutely true, right?
yeah.
That if you embrace it, if you hold the philosophy that I chose it for a good reason, and I chose it in order to move forward. Well, that reframes every issue, every problem. Now
Mm,
it's not happening to you.
right.
Now you're in your power and you're
Mm,
saying, okay, I've chosen this. I accept that. And
right.
so automatically you have a better experience and less resistance.
Not being the victim, it sounds like you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because the reality is there are no victims.
right. Very cool. Yeah, Thomas, at the well, before we get to that, I guess how do people connect with you? Because I really enjoyed the paradox process. I feel like a lot of other people already have enjoyed it, but people that haven't experienced it or don't know about it, if they want to work with you or your team, how do they do that? How's that work?
Yeah. Um, we have a website, www.paradoxprocess.org.
Hmm.
And you can go there and there's lots of resources. We offer a free session because describing this doesn't cut it. You got to
Sure.
experience it. Wouldn't
Yeah.
you agree?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So we offer again, a free session.
Hmm.
I teach a workshop every Monday night, and
Mm.
we pick a topic every Monday night.
Mm.
This month's topic was the dog days, how to make the most out of them, right?
Ah. Hmm.
How to turn toward yourself and love yourself, how to forgive yourself, how to turn
Mm.
inward, right?
Yeah.
But each month I pick a different topic, a different something to work on.
Mm.
So you can follow us at Instagram at Paradox Process, uh, Facebook, if anyone still uses that, at The Paradox Process.
Hmm.
And, just come to the website, come visit us. We do a retreat. We're going to Portugal
Nice.
in 2 weeks to
Okay.
do this intensive. And the name of the intensive is Getting What You Want,
Mm.
right? Which sounds a bit grand, but when you realize the only one in your way is you,
Hmm.
okay? And we're good at getting you out of your way, right?
Right.
We got a lot of different exercises, a lot of different ways of working that do that.
Hmm.
Um, Short of that, let me give you and your people a gift.
Oh,
There's
great.
a, there's a key that I use called Affirm Clear, AFFIRM Clear.
Hmm.
And what I want you to do, here's the exercise. You
Okay.
take 60 seconds in the morning
Hmm.
and describe your life in the most aspirational way as exactly the way you want it to be.
Mm.
And say affirm clear after each line.
Mm.
And what that's going to, you do that for a month, you're going to change your life
Mm.
because it changes your internal dialogue.
Mm.
Okay.
We're so used to the negative talk. This is kind of like doing the reverse of that.
Yes.
It sounds, yeah.
Yeah. It's
Nice.
aspirational. People are funny. They're like, that's not true. And I'm like, I know that's not true. We're going. We're going to create that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah. Work with me.
Work with me. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Very cool. Thomas, this has been a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this, meeting you, talking with you, going through the paradox process. Yeah, thank you for being here and sharing that all today.
Me too. I had a ball. Um,
Awesome.
let's do it again sometime. And hey, tell your wife congratulations
Thank you so
and good luck
much.
to you.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
You got this.
Feeling clear. No.
That was
Oh,
good.
awesome. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning into another episode. We'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.